So let's have a chat about some of the processes we're going to use throughout the tutorials to make things nice and clear for you and straightforward. So I've done a massive amount of workshops over the years, and it makes it quite easy when you are physically with me because you can see the back of the camera, you can see clearly what we're doing, what tools we're using in bits and pieces. So I've been working for some time on what the best process is going to be to make sure that for you, while you're sitting there either looking at your phone or looking at your computer, things are as clear as possible. So these are some of the techniques we're going to use, and I want to just make them really clear right up front. So the first thing I'm going to do at the beginning of each episode is make it really clear what the episode is for. It may seem obvious, right? So I'm going to be stating it. So the very first episode that we're going to be doing is how does aperture and shutter speed affect our light painting image? So there's a whole lot of different ways through the tutorials that I'm going to use to present to you what we're getting. Basically, what they are is this. You're going to see me talking to the camera about, it might be about the tool. So I might present the light painting tool to you. So it's really important that you can see me in the scene. So one of the things I'll show you is I'll just make sure that's actually in the shot. Okay, so one of the things that we need for you to see me is we need studio lights, right? So I've got lights around me that illuminate what we're doing so you can see us. Now, one of the challenges is that we do light painting in the dark, right? So out of the shot, I'm gonna have the ability to turn these lights off. The lights that you can see out here will be off sometimes they'll be slightly on. Sometimes we'll be in my studio back at home, and sometimes we're going to be outside. So there's going to be all sorts of different lights off to the side and bits and pieces. So that's important for you to know. So you're going to see me moving around in and out of the shot. So sometimes you need to be able to see me talking to you. Now there's other times when you need to be able to see what's going on the camera. Now this is a tricky one. There's a couple of ways for me to do that. One of them is to always have a camera here pointing at the screen so you can see what's happening on the screen. Because the important thing for me is I want you to know there's no bullshit going on. I want you to see in real time what is happening as I'm creating these images. So this looks a little intimidating. I'll bring it over here so you can see it. So this looks a little intimidating, but I'll explain to you what's going on here. I don't want you to think when you see this that this is how your light painting rig needs to be set up. Basically what I'm doing is I want you to be able to see exactly what is going on the screen. So when I'm making changes to settings, so how many the exposure time is or what the aperture is, it means I can then cut to this shot on the screen like I am now, and you can see any adjustments or changes that I get. It means that we can press play and you can see what's on the back of the screen, and we can scroll back through the images so that you can see changes, or you can see what's happening on the screen in full screen in high resolution. Now that's really important to me. So that's what all of this is up here. Then what I have over here, this is my remote. It's just something I would normally have attached to the top of the camera. Now, let's think about the camera that I'm using for our tutorials. Now, I am a massive advocate, and I've already touched on this. I've already touched on the fact that you can use super basic equipment for doing your light painting. This is an Olympus EM1 Mark III. The reason I'm going to be using this as our primary camera for doing our light painting is that I can take an HDMI feed out of it to go into the recorder. It's really important for you to know that. I don't want you to be stressing out looking at the camera that we're using and thinking, oh, I want to be using, why am I not using that camera? This is the reason why we're doing it. It is fundamentally so that while I'm capturing the tutorials, you are getting the best experience possible. So, what are you going to be seeing? You're going to be seeing you looking at me talking to you. You're going to see a recorded version of the back of the camera screen, okay? And then the other thing you're going to be seeing is every now and then I will cut to a high-res processed version of or not processed, but converted from raw image of what we've taken. So we'll be using those three things. And what I'm hoping is that that'll give you the best experience possible. It'll make you realize that what you're seeing is actually what we're shooting. There's no smoke and mirrors or trickery. You're going to see the final image, we're going to be doing quite a bit of post-processing. I'm going to teach you how to post-process your images. So you're going to be seeing that. I'll be recording the computer screen while we're doing that. So there's going to be a whole lot of different things. But at all times and when it matters, on the screen, sometimes over to the side over here, sometimes down here, maybe even at the bottom, or if there's an image on the screen, the EXIF data or the data around the image will pop up. It'll tell you what aperture we're at, what f-stop we're at. I'll probably even tell you what lens we were using. I'm going to be using a variety of lenses, but I'll always tell you what lens or what focal length we were at. So whenever possible, I'll be making you really, really aware of all of the information that you need. So here's something really important. Not so much in the first images where we're doing a 5 or a 10-second exposure, but sometimes we're doing a really long exposure. So the images might be 2 or 3 minutes, sometimes even longer. What I'm going to be doing is accelerating the time. I don't want you sitting there watching a tutorial and seeing the counter go 1 second, 2 second, 3, for 3 minutes. There's absolutely no point. So you will see very clearly on the screen somewhere when there's a long exposure happening, either we jump or you will see the counter accelerating, and I'll have a little thing that means we'll probably develop a symbol that means time is accelerating. It might be a little red clock or something like that, but time is going to be often during these tutorials I zoom through time. I just want you to know, okay, that was 3 minutes and here's the thing. I think there is some benefit to that. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else for you to know about the process. We're going to be in a whole lot of different places. We're going to be here in the flower shed for the next week. I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff in my studio down at Largs, and we're going to be out in the wild quite a bit. I think that's all we need to know. Good stuff, but please don't be intimidated by this. That's really important. You'll see me using smaller cameras often, and sometimes even fancier cameras. Excellent. Woo! I hope you enjoyed this visit to the School of Light. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll be adding videos all the time. Head over to the Light Painting Tool Shop at the website. There's a huge array of tools I've made there for you to take on your light painting journey. Peace.